Welcome back. I'm Tyler Mert, sommelier and cicerone for Park Hill South, and today we are discussing wine glassware. I still get constant questions on this. Nearly every class I teach, somebody will bring up a question about wine glassware. So that's what we're going to discuss today. It is important if you use the wrong style of glassware, kind of glassware, you're not going to get the full aroma and flavor enjoyment out of your wine. But it's also very easy to go overboard. You can spend a ton of money on crazy glassware. But the reason you can spend a lot of money is because millions of dollars of testing and research and chemistry and all kinds of things goes into the design and application of wine glassware. So to get started, we are going to first look at size, and in the case of wine glasses, size does matter. One thing that really irks me is when I get this, a glass pretty much filled to the brim, within an inch of the lip, with my wine. Now, taste is 70% what? Aroma, exactly. If we are trying to smell this wine, I'm really not even going to attempt this, or I'm going to get wine all over myself. Very hard to get my nose in there and smell any aroma, especially without getting my nose wet. So that is not what we're looking for. Now, believe it or not, the same amount of wine is in this glass right here. That's getting a little closer. We have a nice big bowl where all those aromas can kind of waft up and be held there, so that when we take a sniff, we get everything that the wine is sort of breathing out into that bowl. That's not possible with this style, with this size of glassware. Now, if you're just tasting, I never pour more than 2 ounces when I'm doing my classes. So if you're just using 2 ounces, this works a little better. I've never really had an issue with only pouring a few ounces of wine in a smaller glass. You can still get your nose in there. There's still a pretty nice headspace there to hold all those aroma molecules in. So first off, size does matter. We either need a bigger glass for a full glass of wine, or we want to pour a little shorter pour and leave that headspace. Now, type of glass, or lack of glass for that matter. I have several different styles here, and the first one is regular glass like you would get at the department store, a regular glass like you would drink water out of. Next to that, we have crystal, and you can tell the thickness between the two, and you can even make them make a sound. Not much ringing, kind of dull. Now we're getting there. A little bit of a singing to the crystal. This is just kind of dead, lifeless. Ain't nobody got time for that, right? So, first off, we do want crystal. And crystal, you can find it affordably. I love places like Tuesday Morning, some of those aftermarket shops. I pop in there every now and then, and I found some fantastic glassware for $8-10 a stem, which is excellent, especially if you're not worried about breaking them. But there's something that goes on with regular glass. You see that thickness, and it seems to kind of just overlap the wine. It's like a big winter coat when the wine's in there, just kind of overlaid on top of it. It's hard to get much aroma out of these. I'm not going to go into all the physiology and chemistry of it, but it's basically like the wine has a big overcoat on, and God forbid there's any leftover detergent or something in there. So, hard to get a good aroma. Now, crystal, on the other hand, we saw how thin that was. And so if this is a winter coat, crystal is like a little string bikini. It's just enough to hold everything in there, right? And that's what we want in a wine glass. We want as little interference with the wine, as close to the wine just floating on its own in zero gravity. That would be ideal, but crystal works great. And lastly, we are going to look at shapes and sizes. So we're going with crystal, and there's all kinds of different shapes and sizes out there. But I found you really only need a couple, if not just one. This is the standard, I believe this is a Riedel restaurant glass. These are available for about $9. And this is what I taste everything out of. I taste 25, 30 wines a week, and I always use one of these. I've got plenty of them right up there behind me, and this is what I use on a daily basis. Reds, whites, everything. If you are just doing a tasting, these smaller crystal glasses work well. These are the Triton titanium crystal. They've actually held up great. I bought 100 of these about 5-6 years ago. I've done over 70 classes with them, and I still have about 90 of them. They are dishwasher safe, so that titanium crystal really holds up nicely. On the other hand, we have Riedel and Spiegelau and Schatzwiesel, a little more dainty crystal that breaks a little easier, but we're kind of looking for dainty, right? So, as I said, I taste everything out of this style glass. You can go with some different designs here. We have a bigger bowl that is great for more aromatic wines or more viscous wines. So big bowl, think something like Pinot and Chardonnay. We have a thinner, it's hard to see, that's why I've got this black towel here, but smaller bowl, a little more focused. This is good for your crisper, lighter whites and even things like high acid reds like your Italian Chiantis, but also Sauvignon Blanc, Riesling, Pinot Grigio. This size of glass works great for that. And then we have the big brother to my tasting glass. You can see the difference between these two. Almost, again, any red, especially the bigger reds, this glass works great, but these also cost more. And like I said, I found that just a standard medium-sized bowl, and I never pour more than 3 ounces in a glass at any single time. I may get served that at a restaurant, but when I'm tasting myself, you don't need more than 3 ounces. You can always go back and get more. So keep that in mind. That is pretty much the rundown on wine glassware. Again, don't get too crazy. You don't have to go overboard and buy $100 stems. They're probably not going to last that long anyways. So find a glass that you like. Check out some of the aftermarket stores. We do sell the Riedel glassware in our Beyond the Label store. And those are great, especially for special occasions or a really nice bottle of wine. You may want to invest in just a couple of those. But for your everyday drinking, find some crystal, throw away the glass, and you're going to get a lot more enjoyment out of your wine. Don't forget to email me, Tyler at Park Hills South. Send me your questions. I'll get them answered. And enjoy. Cheers.